Darby Reviews here. I'm here to show off my horror movie collection. Sadly, my shelf kind of ran out of space, so I just took it off the shelf and put it on the table so I can show it off to you guys. Starting with Urban Legends and Urban Legends 2, Jaws, and the other three Jaws movies. Malignant, which I found underrated. Some people didn't like that one, but I liked it. I was surprised to like that one. Jacob's Ladder, Eight-Legged Freak, Cult Classics, AMC Fest. It's got a couple of movies, Atomic Brain, The Brain That Wouldn't Die, Carnival of Souls, 1962, Night Tide, Snoop Dogg's Bones. I haven't seen this one in a long time, probably when it came out. Hills Have Eyes, the original, and the other two. Unfortunately, I don't have the second one because I think it's out of print. Blob, Beware the Blob, and the superior remake, The Blob, from 1988. Extremely underrated, and I'm surprised it flopped. It's a great movie. The Fog, Saw, the first 7 movies, Jigsaw, Spinal. I will be getting Saw 10 or Saw X. The extremely underrated Phantom of the Paradise, Cabin Fever, The Stuff, Critters Collection, the first 4, and Critters Attacks. The only one I have not seen is Critters Attacks, original Annabelle Horror, and the 2005. Street Trash, Them, Ice Cream Man, Puppet Masters 1, 2, and 3. I do not have the other ones. Poltergeist 1, Poltergeist 2, Poltergeist 3. The Omen Collection, which includes the 4th movie, which I've never seen, and the remake. Final Destination 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Tales from the Hood. Friday the 13th, 8 movie collection, so the first 8. The remake, which I feel like is overhated. This is a custom Blu-ray of Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X, even though those are not very good movies. Freddy vs. Jason. I saw that one at the drive-thru. 4K of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, the 2003 remake, and New Beginnings. I wasn't really a fan of 3 and any of the other ones that came after. Evil Dead, one of my favorite movies of all time. Evil Dead 2, I considered it the greatest movie of all time and the greatest horror movie. Army of Darkness, one of the best, all 4Ks. The 2013 remake, I thought it was pretty good. Not better than the originals, but you know. All 3 seasons of Ash vs. Evil Dead. All of the Elm Street movies, minus the horrendous remake, and this is signed by the star of the second movie. I met him, he's a really nice guy. I wish they would 4K release at least the original one, or the first and third one at least. Scream 1, Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, 5, 6. The extremely underrated People Under the Stairs, I got it on 4K. I bought it at least 2 times on Blu-ray. Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. All considered classics. My favorite one is the first one. Get Out, Candyman, Candyman 2, and Candyman. The cover art for this is amazing, but the movie is terrible for this one. Second one's decent. The first one is the best one. Black Phone, extremely underrated. And if you notice, I don't really have a ton of new movies, and that's due to the fact that a lot of new horror movies kind of suck. Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, Red Dragon, Crime Wave. I wouldn't say this is really a horror movie, but some people label it as it, but it's kind of underrated, and it's kind of a cult classic in my Exorcist, a classic. Exorcist 2, not such a classic. At least it had a good soundtrack, though. Exorcist 3, that is an underrated one. And that jump scare, if you know what I'm talking about. An effective one. Creepshow 2. I do not have 3. The 3 does not exist. Halloween, obviously a masterpiece, classic horror movie. Halloween 2, I almost have it as very close to being as good as the original. Halloween 3, I know this one gets a lot of hate. If it was its own movie and it wasn't called Halloween, I think a lot of people would like it a lot more. Halloween 4, pretty decent. Halloween 5, it really fell off. I still kind of like it, but there's a lot of issues. 4 had issues with 5. This is Halloween 6 through H2O through Resurrection. Resurrection was garbage. The Rob Zombie ones. The first Rob Zombie one was decent. The second one was not so great. Halloween 2018, I like this one. Halloween Kills, I know some people didn't like it. I like some of it. There's obviously some issues, and then Halloween Ends, there's a ton of issues. There's only maybe some minor stuff that I like in Ends, but it's a disaster. A notoriously bad Dracula vs. Frankenstein movie. My Name is Bruce, the original 1954 Godzilla movie. If I had to have all of them here, we would be here all day. So I'm not good. I just brought in the original. King Kong Escape, Thou Shalt Not Kill Except, the Twilight Zone movie. Uncle Sam, my dad used to have this poster that used to scare the crap out of me. Uncle Sam wants you dead. Intruder, the original Black Christmas, not the 2019 garbage and not the 2006 one. Alien, this has 1, 2, 3, and 4. Dead Moon Rising, my mom had a cameo as a zombie in this movie. It's a low budget movie. The Thing from Another World and The Thing. Silent Night, Deadly Night. The notoriously bad Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. If you know, Garbage Day. And 3, 4, and 5, which I've never seen those. I still need to see 3, 4, and 5. 2001 Maniac. Vincent Price movie collection. The Bat, The House on Haunted Hill, and Last Man on Earth. American Psycho. Drag Me to Hell. Some people might not consider this one horror movie, but the Mummy trilogy. Extremely underrated Frighteners. Sleepaway Camp 1, Sleepaway Camp 2, 3, 4. Some people might not even know that 4 exists. And Return to Sleepaway Camp. Psycho 1, classic, a masterpiece. Psycho 2, Psycho 3, and Psycho 4. I do not have the 1998 remake. Maniac Cop 1. I wish this one had a 4K release, because the first one is probably the best one, followed by 2, which I do have in 4K, Maniac Cop 2. And Maniac Cop 3, which was just okay. The extremely underrated movie with Bruce Campbell in. Bubba Huptep. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's kind of hard to see, but I have the Dickies, the people who did the theme song, autographed when I saw the Dickies play. Return of the Living Dead. Phantasm 1 and 2. It has a X-rated version of Phantasm 2. I have Phantasm 3. I do have the Shout Factory one of Phantasm 2. I have Phantasm 4. And the last one, Phantasm 5 Ravager. Leprechaun, the complete movie collection. Honestly, the first one is a classic. The other ones, I like 2 and I like 3. Even the Hood ones and the Space one. But Origins can go in the trash can because Origins sucked. I have still not yet seen Leprechaun Returns. I know it's not Warwick Davis, but I've heard that it's actually somewhat decent. Some of Stephen King stuff. Carrie. Very good movie. The extremely underrated Christine. The Shining, I know some people are not a huge fan of this one. Some people really like it and some people really hate it. And its sequel, Dr. Sleep, which I find really underrated too. Like Christine. Didn't get that much money at the box office for some reason. Pet Sematary. and Pet Sematary 2. The original 1990s hit, the 2017 remake, and its sequel, Part 2. Wasn't too sure if Maximum Overdrive, if I did that one earlier or not, but that was also Stephen King who directed it, and he was high when he directed this movie. Children of the Corn, and some of its sequel, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Unfortunately, I do not have 2, which I guess 2 doesn't have a Blu-ray release, which really stinks. Nosferatu, 1922. Let's going into Universal Monsters. Dracula, from 1931 to 48, which has Dracula, Dracula's daughter, Son of Dracula, House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, Albert and Costello meet Frankenstein, Invisible Man, Frankenstein collection, which also includes Bride of Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, Ghost, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, and most of the other ones that are in the Dracula ones. Wolfman, which also includes She-Wolf in London, Werewolf in London, and a few of the other ones that I've already said. The underrated Creature of the Black Lagoon, which also that has The Revenge and The Creature Walks Among Us, and The Mummy, the original Mummy, which has The Mummy, The Mummy's Hand, The Mummy's Tomb, The Mummy's Ghost, The Mummy's Curse, and the one I previously said, and the 2010 remake of The Wolfman, which I find underrated and didn't really deserve the hate and the box office bomb it got, and The Phantom of the Opera, 1943, The Twilight Zone, the complete series of the original on Blu-ray, The Fly Collection, which contains The Fly, The Return of the Fly, The Curse of the Fly remake with Goldblum, and The Fly 2. I Know What You Did Last Summer, which honestly I don't understand why it got any hate, and the lesser liked sequel, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which I also feel like it definitely doesn't deserve the hate it got. It's a little corny, and yeah, it's kind of a cheap cash grab on Scream's success, but I still like it. Same thing with Urban Legends, at least the first Urban Legends movie. The Wishmaster collection for movie set. I've only really remembered the first 2 movies. I don't remember 3 and 4 that much. Hostel and Hostel 2. Fortunately, I don't have Hostel 3. I don't know if that one had a Blu-ray release or it's out of print because I can't find it anywhere. But I feel like these ones are criminally underrated, and I really do like Eli Roth. He just loves to make film. He likes to make movies. 1925's Phantom of the Opera. In my opinion, I feel like this is the best version of Phantom of the Opera, just because of how the special effects were, the music, even though there's no dialogue that you can hear, it's all in written text, but still the monster or the Phantom's face when he's revealed is amazing how they did it. Basket Case. One of the movies that really got me into horror movies. If it wasn't for this and Evil Dead 2, I don't know if I would have been the horror movie fan I am now. Basket Case 2. Never saw either one of these yet. Basket Case 3, 2. I know some fans probably think that the first one is superior than the other 2 sequels. The criminally underrated Motel Hell. This is a steelbook from Shout Factory. You're Next. Surprisingly, I like this movie because movies in past 2004 have really suffered for being really bad. In my opinion, this was, again, underrated, and if you're a horror movie fan, you definitely should check this one out. Man with the Screaming Brain. I wish this had a Blu-ray release, and it's directed by Bruce Campbell and starring Bruce Campbell. kind of a horror movie, but not really. Deep Blue Sea. I had a lot of fun with this movie. It was one of the movies that made me afraid of sharks for a little while, but looking back at it now, it's like hilarious. I mean, I saw this and I saw Jaws and I was afraid of sharks. So, the horror comedy Shaun of the Dead, very funny movie. A lot of the jokes you have when you get older, you really understand more. The criminally underrated Shocker, Wes Craven, really good soundtrack, really good visual effects at the time. Didn't really do that great at the box office, if I remember correctly. This is like a horror movie collection. Cheap movies, Closets, Memory, Darkness, The Dark Knight, Prophet's Game, Momentum. A lot of these movies are kind of not so good. There was one that was really good, but I can't remember. I think it might have been the one with Dennis Hopper in it. Congo, a movie with a glorious cameo by Bruce Campbell, and it had Tim Curry in it and Ernie Hudson. So it's definitely worth a watch. It's not the greatest, but still, you had a good cast in the movie. So I have a ton of nostalgia for Jack Frost. Seeing it at Blockbuster. It's not the greatest movie of all time or anything, but it's a horror comedy. Jack Frost 2, not so much, but I still enjoy some of Jack Frost 2 because of getting it at Blockbuster. The Ring, I will be getting the 4K release probably, containing The Ring. The Ring 2 never got a Blu-ray release, and The Rings, the third movie sucked. Planet Terror by Robert Rodriguez. The Stepfather, really good movie. I don't have the second one. It never got a Blu-ray release. And the third movie and the remake don't exist to me. Misery. They Live. Really good movie. I don't understand how this movie didn't do good at the box office. A lot of really good movies flopped at the box office in the 80s that are considered now cult classics. The Toxic Avenger movies. All four movies. Is this really a horror movie or a superhero movie? You tell me. I think it's a bit of both. And they're so bad it's good type movies. So they're definitely popcorn flicks. Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and Stephen King's Cat's Eye, which I should have put in the Stephen King selection, but oops. There might be a part 2 if Amazon will deliver on time, because I had a few other movies that were coming in on Halloween. If not, oh well. For some reason, my camera was acting up and not letting me put one portion of the horror collection, which was the Child's Play 1, for some reason. But Child's Play 1 on 4K, classic. Child's Play 2, I almost like this one as much as the original. Child's Play 3, the comedy one, Bride of Chucky, Seed, Curse, Cult, the 2019 remake, which was okay. The Chucky the TV series, which I have not yet to watch yet. I still need to check that one out. I heard it was decent. I accidentally left out a few horror movies. This is a bootleg. It's not the real copy of Dead Alive, because it's really extremely expensive. It's like a German or something, bootleg or something. Mama, Dusk Till Dawn, good one by Robert Rodriguez. Attack of the Giant Leeches, not the best movie. Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2, I do not own this. I don't own 3, and I don't own that remake. The 12 zombie movies, which has, let's see, Carnival of Souls, Dead Man Walks, Horror of Zombies, House of the Living Dead, King of the Zombies, Last Men on Earth, Mutant, Night of the Living Dead, Oasis of the Zombies, The Snake People, Teenage Zombies, and White Zombie.